For more on this, I want to bring in ABC News contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett, along with trial attorney and legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. Gentlemen, glad to have you here with us. So, Brad, I want to start here with you. I think our team is working to get it up because our Aaron Katersky was actually able to get a picture of this fake ID, this New Jersey ID that this person allegedly had on them. So if we're able to get that up, we'll share it with you. But I'm curious as to your thoughts on not only what this ID means and finding it means, as well as this handwritten document, some 3 pages long, that they think can, talk about the motivation and mindset of this person.
So, the key is obviously to connect whatever information or evidence you have back to the crime itself. It's big that he has that fake ID on his person that was apparently used at the hostel and maybe other places in New York City. That puts him there. Does it put him at the crime scene? No, but it's another link based on all the other evidence that the police have or probably are gathering as we speak this afternoon. This strikes me, Kana, as what I call a cause-driven crime, much like, I'm not comparing the two, of course, at all, but like terrorist groups or individuals that go and shoot up a place, reference to ISIS, are driven by a cause. This kid, I think, is driven by either he got injured and wasn't treated fairly in his mind by UnitedHealthCare or someone close to him. And so I think that's the reason you see him so calm, cool, collected, casual, even to a certain extent, at the scene, the way he shoots, the way he rifles back the weapon so it continued to fire. And then he casually walks off. And then the picture is caught of him around New York. He doesn't look distressed about anything. And the reason why is he believes what he did is just.
Well, and so let me ask you about some of this evidence right now. Again, things are currently playing out right in Pennsylvania. So, Brad, how do authorities string together the evidence that they have right now and try to, connect it to this crime in New York, the murder of Brian Thompson?
So let's start with a firearm. Assuming that the firearm that he had on his person today is the same weapon, that can ballistically be easily matched up. They have the shell casings. So they're just going to have to test fire that. And that'll be one piece that links him to the gun to the crime scene. There was apparently a partial or smudged fingerprint. You would need, by most fingerprint examiners would need 6 points of reference to say this is a person's fingerprint. We'll have to see if, in fact, that matches.
And just as you were talking, everybody, there's the driver's license now. It was just put up on the screen. Can we bring that back up again, please, so that we can get a good look at it? Aaron Katersky was able to get this. Here's the this fake ID, right? It's a New Jersey ID. They believe this was used at the hostel. You can see this is a picture of this young man with the name Mark Rosario. I want to bring in ABC's Rena Roy quickly as well for more on this. And Rena, you've been covering the story here from the beginning. So now that we have a look at this ID here, how does that add to the litany of evidence that authorities are trying to use right now?
Yeah, well, as we know, they've recovered multiple items that have connected Mangione potentially to this crime, the ghost gun, the ID, as you mentioned. And now they're really trying to get a better understanding of why he did this. They are combing through that 3-page handwritten document as well that they found on him, really to get a better sense of his motive here. NYPD officers also going to Altoona, as we know, to talk to him themselves. Their other main focus is trying to figure out how he was able to stay pretty much under the radar for 6 days. We know that the NYPD did not have his name until this morning when they were tipped off. They are now working on tracing his steps backwards from Altoona to New York City to determine how exactly he got there. Last they saw him was on cameras at a bus terminal here in Manhattan shortly after the shooting, heading out of the city.
And Brian, can you sort of take us inside the mind of a prosecutor right now and tell us how they would be stringing together some of this alleged evidence and how important is trying to come up with a motive in this moment?
So from a standpoint of a prosecutor, a motive is important, but it's not an element of a crime, so they'll try to get it, but I think they'll have a pretty good job or a pretty light job of doing that because of that kind of 3-page manifesto. The way that I typically think about it is probably the opposite of how a prosecutor thinks about it, but in my mind, there are 2 different people. There is the shooter and the person that was arrested. And for a prosecutor, what they're trying to do is make those 2 people one and the same. And the way you do that is the shooter used a specific gun. Was that gun or evidence on that gun connected to the person you arrested? arrested. We've heard information about a bag being found, monopoly money, the 3 shell casings that said delay, deny, and defend, and they couldn't attach any potential DNA of those items to anyone because this person, at least that they arrested, doesn't have a criminal record. But now they have a source of DNA that they can compare and contrast it to. And so they'll try to take these 2 entities and take the information between them and try to make them one, saying it's one and the same person that committed these crimes and was arrested.
All right, so again, we're awaiting charges in Pennsylvania, and then we'll see what happens in New York. Brad Garrett, Brian Buckmeyer, Rena Roy. Our thanks to all of you.